Andrea.
Hello, Emil.
Do we hear each other now? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear. Yeah. Can you hear me?
No, I don't hear you. Is it my bad again?
Hello, hello. Hello.
I think this is how I normally do it.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yeah, another device. I think I hear you now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I know. Yeah, I do. Too many audio devices. Hi, Adam. Or not yet. No.
Hi.
Hi, Adam.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear
I
me?
don't hear anything anymore though.
You don't hear us. Okay. But you hear us, Adam, right?
Sorry?
You hear us, right? You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. Hi, Jalander.
Hi.
Okay. I guess we have some usual suspects here. Let's get started. Can share my screen. I haven't prepared too much though. So this might be a quick meeting just as the last one. Let's see. Okay. I can start by signing up myself. Oh, these are your names. So this is then the SIG Events meeting on March 27th. Last meeting of this quarter. Time flies. We didn't have any action items last meeting that I noted. Some updates from the CDF groups, mainly the ones that you are already aware of. In the CDF Events workgroup, we recently released version 0.2. There is some admin still left to be done, but it's the protocol is tagged on GitHub, and the release is created in GitHub. We're planning 0.3 for late April, where the focus will be 3 different parts: connecting events, supply chain security aspects, and also an improvement of the test events. We hope all that will be covered by that release. I think that's all about the CDF Events workgroup. When it comes to what happens in the TOC, I just added some information that tomorrow on the TOC meeting, we will have people from the value stream mapping interoperability work group, or I think they call themselves a TC, if I don't remember incorrectly. We will continue discussing common interoperability needs between the value stream mapping area and what we are doing in the CDF. So looking forward to that, to see what that cooperation will end up in. There might come new requirements on areas for CD events to cover, for example, or something like that. We'll see. More from the TOC is that we haven't had a SIG sponsor for long in the SIG events group. I think we still have it actually written in our GitHub page, but I don't think that's valid anymore. I think it says here somewhere that we have the sponsor, or maybe that's changed. Yeah, here it says. But this Isaac hasn't been there for long, so this is not correct. It needs to be updated and firstly removed, but then maybe updated to someone else. There's no one appointed yet for the SIG Events group, but we hope that will come. Through the SIG sponsors, then the TOC will try to request some information from the SIGs, which will be the wish there is to have a roadmap for each of the SIG, and also some quarterly updates in some simple format, and also some end of year report every year. So that's some additional work that we might need to figure out how to support the TOC with. And obviously it's important for the TOCs to have a good knowledge about how the different SIGs are working and their goals and so on. So I think that's a good thing, but yeah, of course it requires some more additional work from us. I don't have any updates from any other SIGs. I briefly looked into the other reports just before the meeting, the minutes, but I didn't find anything really valuable to bring in here. I'm not sure if anyone of you have been in any other SIG meetings lately and have anything to share. That's about that. Yeah, Andrea, you had something?
No, just came to mind from the outreach committee. There was this initiative to work on workshops. So there is going to be a series of workshop that is basically produced by the CDF with help of different contributors. So there is a working group that is working on that specifically. So if folks are interested in working and preparing workshop material, please feel free to join the workshop working group.
What kind of workshops is that? What kind of themes or topics or?
There are a few in the pipeline yet, but I think it's CDF projects mainly.
Okay.
That's but I think it's quite open to the other things. Workshops. Let me see if I can find. I'll find the link to the meeting details and notes, so I can share it. Sorry, I didn't prepare it in advance. So it just came to mind. That's something maybe that we could try and do something at some point.
So is your idea that we should somehow contribute there, or something we should more or less participate in and gain from, or what's should we like describe CIG events there? Is that the idea you think, or?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a bit further in future when we start having CIG events integrated in tools.
Yeah.
And maybe our SDK is a bit more mature, so we could think of, setting up like a hands-on session like that to demonstrate CIG events in practice.
Right, like a webinar more, I guess. Then something like that.
Yeah.
Good.
But let me find out more. Sorry, it just came to mind. But it was a half thought.
There's not much new that I know about on upcoming conferences. We still have KubeCon coming up in a few weeks. One news from last time is that the schedule for the Open Source Summit is now published. It wasn't last meeting. I haven't looked into it myself. I won't be there in person. I will probably be there virtually to some extent. Obviously, it's not a good timing for European people, but I will try to attend some sessions at least. Then one more thing is that there will be a demo theater for the CDF on next to the over in at CDCon, which we are more or less, I think, like right, Andrea, expected to show CD events there. So there is an Excel sheet we are intended to fill in for, or not Excel sheet, but the other sheet to fill in for projects to present. But now, as I understand it, it's only Andrea in this meeting who will actually be there in person. I was hoping to have some more people here to discuss it with, if someone could be able to join and talk about CD events in some slot there. But then Andrea, I guess, yeah, we'll see who else might join from CD events group to Vancouver. If you could get some help there. I think it's a good opportunity to show CD events there as well. These sessions, I'm pretty sure, are just physical. They will not be virtual, at least, even though if they were early, it could probably maybe work to have. No, what did I think about? There was some other slot for like project workshop meetings. Wasn't that something that was supposed to be set up as well, Andrea?
Yeah, if you look in the third tab there is a project summit schedule.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I need to put this up here. I'm hidden behind my Zoom. Why can I? There. Now I see it. This one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Correctly. So.
Right. Yeah. So these are basically rooms which are available for certain time slot for a project, where contributor from that project can meet basically and have that space for them.
Right. So this is either before the schedule starts in the morning or after it ends in the evening, right?
Yeah, so before lunch break.
This is lunchtime. And
then Monday evening there is like a booth crawl or something like that. So there's no evening slot. And on Tuesday there is an evening slot as well.
Yeah. What I was thinking when I saw this is that if there will be a session for CD events in this early time slot, which is of course very early for you guys who are in Vancouver then, and if there could be some Zoom setup or something, then we in Europe could maybe participate in that early session, if that makes sense. I don't know, it might not, but I mean, if you're anyway not very many people there in CD events, it might still be an opportunity to have a session there. I guess that when do we have the CD events work group meeting? Is that this week? Let me check. I'm not sure if that would be an option to replace the CD events workshop with that. No, that week we have the SIG events on Monday. So it doesn't really make sense to replace that. So yeah, I don't know. We can see when we come close to it there, if it feels like an option at all to somehow have a virtual connection for this meeting.
I mean, sorry, excuse me. There are 4 morning slots, and only one of them is taken by Spinnaker so far.
Yeah.
So maybe we could put a tentative CD event in one of them.
Do you think it makes sense?
Well, I guess it depends. If there are folks in person there, we could meet in the room and we could set up a Zoom link and connect with the rest of the team. If it's just me there, I mean, we could meet at any time. I don't think there is any particular interest in using one of these rooms, but if there is more than myself interested in city events there, we could.
Do you think we should reach out to the ones who have signed up for CDCon in person to see if anyone is interested already now, or maybe we don't need to rush that either?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know what would be the best way.
Obviously, if a Zoom meeting needs to be set up, there's some setting up needed to be done, of course, in that room as well, with microphone and speakers and those things. So it would require some setting up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we could ask in Slack and on the mailing list, or do you think we should try and reach a wider audience somehow? I'm not sure.
No, I don't know. No, I don't have a strong opinion. I think it's mostly up to you who will be there, I think, to see if you think it would be feasible to set something at all up. So yeah, but of course we can say tentative now if you think that makes sense. Is it then you think best on the Monday or the Tuesday? Monday is very early, 7 a.m. on a Monday. Shouldn't this be 7:30, by the way? It's 7:30 in this slot. It is actually 7:30 and 7. Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah, looks like.
I guess if you come there, I don't know what time will you arrive to Vancouver? Is it Sunday or even Saturday or?
Saturday, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's very early on the first weekday there.
Yeah, I would say maybe the Tuesday.
Yeah.
Be
if at all, yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know how far away from the location you will live either, but you need to finish some breakfast and things before, and it will be very early for you.
Yeah, it's going to be maybe difficult to get people to join at that time.
I think so. Let's keep it for now and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's debate that discussion. We should maybe add it as well to the discussion then here. Okay. Then it's not much new actually on the rest of the agenda. We all know that the RFC for Spinnaker is approved. Jalander, by the way, is it something ongoing there now on the actual implementation that you want to share?
Yes, Hemel. So we started actual implementation. So divided the epic into some stories and then started working on it. But yeah, so there is an ask, right? So I again to check with Ben, so whether we can create some stories or some issues on Spinnaker dashboard so that it will be visible on Spinnaker also. So I'll check with Ben after this meeting. Yeah. So if is there any something like we can add it in the Spinnaker as well?
Good. And then about the Jenkins integration, we have heard from Fidelity that they have started to work on it. It is said to be based on the Jenkins plugin that was developed by the GSOC project a year and a half ago. They are at the moment developing it internally at Fidelity, but they will eventually open source it. We assume that is because of the legal discussions haven't been finalized yet, so that's why they still work on it internally. But we expect it to be open sourced as soon as possible. I don't think I have anything else to bring up actually on the agenda today. So do we have anything from others on this meeting that you want to share?
I just added a link to the workshop planning docs. I don't know if you want to open it briefly.
Sure.
So we have sponsors and speakers, and then there is a current list of topics up for discussion. And yeah, so interoperability city events was included there as a potential area as a topic. I don't think there is I'm sure there's no specific sponsor for that topic yet. But yeah, that's something we might consider doing.
So what is the process on these topics? Is it that the sponsor will more or less take them and assign them to them, or? Each topic should have a sponsor, yeah.
Yeah.
Will it be tracked from this document then, you think, or somewhere else?
I think so. I mean, then specific topics, I mean, the actual work on a specific topic might have their own document. I'm not sure yet. Unfortunately, I could be there only for the beginning of the initial meeting. Yeah.
It requires some involvement, I see, on a sponsor for one of these topics.
Yeah, so
find speakers,
I mean,
yeah.
Definitely, I mean, developing a workshop is a certain amount of work, so you need to have a certain amount of, well, as a small group of people at least, that they are like sponsoring and dedicated to make it happen. But
is there an expectation to have these workshops planned for this spring or starting in the autumn, or when do you think they will start?
I think the plan is to try and do like quarterly. So to be able to produce one every quarter, I think. Yeah. So
but there's none planned yet, I guess, or is there? None of these topics have been planned yet.
Yeah, no, this is just starting. But there is a lot of interest. If you look at the attendees list, there was quite
I see that.
a good group. And yeah, so the initial idea came from Dadizi from Apple. And yeah, so Thomas Schuetz, the third one, took the volunteer to kind of drive the working group.
But this was a year ago, was it? If the date is correct.
No, I think that's a mistake.
Okay.
The meeting just happened, so this was a few days ago.
Oh, so it's not even 29. It's something else. March something else 2023. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where that.
There was some other.
Comes.
This is also wrong then. Okay.
That's really strange. Well,
Where is it?
It was definitely this year. I don't know where the date comes from.
Okay.
That's strange.
Okay, it comes from the marketing outreach committee from the beginning.
Yeah, that's 20.
Okay. Yeah, but there's no documentation in Slack on this. Then I guess it's sorry in Cambridge. It's in Google Docs instead.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, there is
Something
actually
strange with a meeting date at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought it was, I mean, I'm not sure what happened there with the dates. So I'll see if I can find out. Yeah, but I just wanted to let people know that there is this initiative happening, and yeah, I don't think that's something that we could do as like small group of our CD events contributors probably. But if we find some people to work with and some sponsor, and maybe we could at least contribute to this kind of work.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually looked at this link here. There is a listing of the outreach committee Google Drive where it stated that there was a meeting on March 15th, and that's the last one. It seems that if you recall that, it was probably on this meeting that we discussed it last. So then I believe that it should say 2023 here, maybe. But you were on the meeting, you said, and yeah, you were there. But then the next meeting might be on Wednesday. Could that be the case? So this meeting is actually the next meeting coming up. But it should say 2023.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense because there's been just one meeting until now. So maybe that's just the planned agenda then for the next meeting. But I don't know where the attendees list come from. It was just copy pasted then from.
But it's also strange in the CDF calendar, there is no outreach committee meeting on
No, but
March
this is
29th.
I mean, it was initially discussed in the outreach. So it's an initiative that started
Okay,
from the
this is
outreach
another
committee.
group, yeah.
But this is another group.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's
Yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, good input at least. So there is something that could come then. And we might be requested to help out there and present something and discuss something.
Yeah, I found the invite on March the 15th. It was definitely the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The kickoff.
Good.
29.
Anything else? How are things progressing, Adam? You are working on the Java SDK, right? Is there anything or maybe that was already done?
No, the SDK has been updated. It was true. I've been working on getting a visualization tool for CD events.
Yeah, right. So what about the version 0.2 now for the Java SDK? Would it make sense for you to look into that as well to make it?
Yeah, might
it's just
be
a small change, I guess.
Yeah, I'm actually not too sure what has updated, but it might be worth looking into.
Yeah, it's just one bucket of events with three new events, right, Andrea? The incident events. So the difference isn't very huge.
Yeah, but there is some.
Yep, we'll look into that.
I mean, there is a updated event type and of most events, if not all of them, because we did some minor tweaking, I believe. So many events switched to from 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, something like that.
There is something, the biggest thing, I guess, is the incident package, which is just an addition. But then there is also some minor changes.
And I was telling this morning, Emil, that I've been working on generating the code for the Golang SDK. So what it does basically, the way I have it set up is that it's the spec repo is configured as a Git submodule for this SDK. And it points to a certain tag. And when I update the tag to a new version, I can run some generate script, and the generate script will basically parse the schemas and update all the relevant Go classes accordingly. And then I have tests. Some part of the test code is also generated, and test the general SDK functionality, and some that will actually try to exercise the SDK to produce the examples that we have in the spec repository now, to make sure that we are able to produce those examples for the SDK. And I was wondering if a similar approach could be used then in other SDKs. It might be possible to even reuse the Go code, maybe make it more generic, and use it to produce the Java code as well. But I've not looked into the Java code at all, so I don't know whether that makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm not sure specifically what parts, what should I note, Andrea? What parts of the Go SDK would be reusable? How should I phrase that?
Yeah, I mean the component that generates the code, which is not part of the Go SDK itself. I mean, it's in the Go SDK repository, and it's used to produce the code. But
yeah,
I mean, the functionality of that bit specifically, the component specifically, is to parse the schema files, extract data, and then run some templates, basically. So you can have templates written in the Go templating format, which is just like text files with some template tags in. And yeah, basically it goes and applies the data extracted from the schemas into the templates. I mean, with the templates, you can do the usual kind of things that you may expect. So you can have simple variable replacement. You can have like loops, conditionals, and those kind of things.
So what do you think, Adam? Is that something you think would be interesting to look into, if there's a possibility to reuse that code generation tool?
It would be worth looking into anyway. Yep.
Where can we find that, Andrea, the actual code generation part of the Go SDK then?
I don't think I pushed it yet.
Okay.
SDK. yeah, as soon as I finish the testing part, I will push it, or I can start making a PR. Actually, what I have today, but it's not. All right. Yes.
And one thing also we need to have make releases, right, for even Java SDK, similar to Go SDK. So like, can we make releases for the Java SDK as well?
Yes, we need to make releases. So Evan from Fidelity has been looking into release automation for both the Python and Java SDKs. So he's investigating that part specifically. Yeah, so I mean, making the release itself is probably relatively straightforward for Java, as I don't think there's no binary to be produced. I guess there is a tarball that needs to be, sorry, a jar file probably that needs to be produced.
Yes.
But I think the interesting bit is probably make that available via the, what is called the Maven Central, I think.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that Evan has been looking into. Evan Elms, maybe you could collaborate on that if you have some ideas on how to do that. Or
yeah,
I think there is some work that was started already, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I will check with him.
So yes, I added a comment on this. It might fit here, or if not, we can do it somewhere else. But maybe just state something on how we expect these SDKs to be released generally. Then, and of course, there should be specific information about each SDK as well when there are language-specific things. Good. What else? Okay. It seems we have some things to talk about. That's good. Anything else we should bring up? No, not for now.
I'm just making a PR very quickly.
Oh, already.
Yeah, it's not complete.
Of course.
But
you can add it to the notes here once you have it.
But if you just open this, just wanted to give a pointer. I put it in the link in the chat.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So if you scroll down a bit. All right, so all these things starting with ZZ are generated, but yeah, so the tool is the generator there.
Yeah.
So this is basically, it's kind of independent, and yeah, I got some variables there which are specific to the Go SDK, but those could be, more general. And then if you look, yeah, so there is this data structure. This is the data that is extracted from the JSON schema. So the name of the subject, the name of the predicate, the version, the subject type, content fields. And so that is then then can be injected into the templates. And on the left-hand side, there you can see there are some templates. It's basically, it looks like general code, but then you can see there are some tags inside, right? So you can, and those dots, they point to the data structure that I was showing you before. So you can access data from that data structure there. And so, it's relatively simple mechanism, but it's, I think it's effective because you can use then Go to parse the schemas, and so it's quite solid in that sense. It's not.
But then you will need to write an event.java.template file here, for example, then as well. For Java,
Yes.
okay, and for Python the same. But the rest will be the same, more or less.
Yes. And I mean, the generator expects to have those two templates and do different things for those specific two templates, but again, we could make it more generic and use a similar. But I don't know if there are things in Java that are more specific to Java. Maybe they do better work for Java specific code.
I guess it depends on the class structure in Java, how you set it up and how many files you use and so on. If there is, I guess there needs to be a one-to-one mapping from one of these files to the to each event type. So there's one file per event type, it seems, then in generated outputs.
So like the way I made it so there are some files, like the event is one per event, but the types as one that contains shared information about all the events. So you can basically have both.
Okay. Yeah, it's worth looking into at least, because that would of course simplify the task of updating the SDK to a new version of the protocol.
Yes, I think it makes it, once it's nice, it's finalized the process, then updating the SDK should be relatively straightforward and also less error prone, because then it's all automated and you can be quite confident.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure either if that really makes sense for any language, and in particular for Java, but at least you can consider that, Adam, if you're able to see if it would be possible to write an event.java.templates file here, types.java. Similar to this. Okay, good. Thank you, Andrea, for that. Should I then add it to the minutes as well? Maybe you did. Here. Something like that. Okay. Thank you, Andrea. Anything else? No? Okay. I think it was well spent, 45 minutes. So thank you for participating, and talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.